you say, the Bible's exhortation in Matthew 28:19 to go and make disciples did not command us to go and make converts. I thought that was very interesting. You said, although conversion is implied, and you've already reiterated that now, because that needs a person to be saved, but you draw it out. Again, you're addressing the excesses. So I want to make sure everyone understands that. This isn't, you have to understand it in context. Since disciples must first be converted, it tells us to make disciples, followers of Jesus, who are baptized, instructed, and taught how to live lives in obedience to God's command. Because that itself is an evangelistic sign that the reality of the gospel. Is that what you're trying to help us to see, that it is the way, not just exclusively and salvific, but he is a means to an end? I mean, he is an end as well, but it's how we live our life. Right. It shows the authenticity and the validity of the gospel. Is that it?
Right. It's not just the moment. It's, that moment is everything. It's just like, I mean, this is one of the things I love about the phrase born again, which again, I talk about, but there is a birth, right? But it's not just about the birth. It's the, what leads up to it. I mean, life begins before birth, right? But also like what comes after it. So that moment is important, but it's not everything. And so the same is true for the Christian life. Like we need to be born again. We need to have that conversion experience. But the hard part is the life that follows, the discipleship, the sanctification, and we need to focus on that too.
One of the things that we've talked to several neuroscientists and neurotheologians on the show, and looking at just how the brain conceptualizes. And in the church, historically, we've done this idea of you behave, you believe, then you belong. But the reality in the brain, it's actually the other way around. You belong where you see people actually love you and care for you. That leads to belief, and then that changes your behavior. And again, for some, it's that darkness to light. Like I know some people, that was their conversion. But others, though, it's that gradual dimmer over time. And people would ask me when I would get ready to baptize them, they said, well, I can't recall the moment I really knew. And it's like, well, do you remember when the light was on? Did you remember that moment? Just like you're watching the sunrise. It's like it's dark, and then you look around and go, wait a minute, when the light's here.
Right.
That's that same idea. Is that what you're trying to help us to see?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I even share in the book how, because I was blessed to be born into a Christian home and raised by Christian parents, I accepted the Lord. I had my conversion experience when I was very young. I don't remember it, but I do remember my baptism. And so, as someone else I quote in the book says, no parent wants their child to have a dramatic conversion experience, right?
You don't want him to sin, is what you're saying. You don't want him to go through that hell.
Yeah, we don't want that dramatic before and after. I mean, some people have that, and that's a glorious testimony to the power of the Lord too. But also is, the young child convert, or the person who didn't have a dramatic before to contrast with the after. I mean, it's all good. That's just our human desire. I teach literature. I love great stories. I love drama. But we don't have to have that. That's not how we value or should value our conversion stories.